Welcome to the channel. Today's episode is going to be part 2 of this Global Mx5 Cup Car repair. And in the last video, we left off by welding the front end together. So in this episode, we're going to be cleaning up the welds on the front end and getting it cut in. We're also going to be gluing the left quarter panel on with panel bond, repairing some dents on the right side of the car, and painting a booth load of parts. Got a lot of work to do, so stay tuned. Let's get right to it by cleaning up the welds on the front of this car. So now that we have all the welds on the front end of the car all cleaned up, let's move our attention to the rear of the car. Let's get the tail light on, the rear bumper, and the deck lid. Make sure the quarter panel fits really well so we can start gluing it on with panel bond. So we're going to be using panel bond to glue this quarter panel on. And one thing you want to note when you want to use panel bond, you want to make sure all of your gaps, and you want to make sure that this quarter panel fits perfectly. Because if it doesn't fit perfectly, once you put the glue on the panel, you have a set window that you can work with. So you don't really have any time to do any major adjusting once you start gluing the panel on. A crucial area is here in the wheel opening. There's an inner wheelhouse that meets the outer skin. You definitely want to make sure that this is where it needs to be, because you don't have time to manipulate this inner wheelhouse to meet your outer skin once you start gluing. We're pretty much going to be welding all the corners and where this striker meets, because that's what holds the door in place. We even put the taillight in. This one's a broke taillight, but it's good for fitment. Make sure all your gaps are good. I think we're ready to start coming off with this quarter panel so we can put some glue on it. So you can see it better from the back side where this striker bolts up to the quarter panel. This is heavy metal right through here. So we're going to be welding on the pinch weld right in this area here, just to make sure that what holds the door in place is actually welded. And also, one of the things you got to do when you're gluing with the panel bond is engineered to stick to bare metal, so you have to grind off any paint or any debris to get down to the bare metal where the glue is going to be touching. This is the outer wheelhouse. That's going to be glued there, and subsequently on the outer skin we have to clean off all that e-coat so it's bare metal to bare metal with the glue. We're going to be using this 3M panel bond. You can see here the work time is 90 minutes. So once you glue it on there, you've got 90 minutes to get everything set where you need it to be before you clamp it. The clamp time is 4 hours and the cure time is 24 hours. So once we get it clamped, I like to let the clamp sit on overnight, and then at least 24 hours before this thing's ready. So when we're putting the glue on, we put the glue on the car in certain spots and we put it on the panel in others. So let me show you what I'm talking about and why. So when the glue that's going on the car will be in spots like this, also in the front here. Now we don't put glue where there's going to be welds, because you can't weld through the glue. It doesn't get good penetration. But on the car here, everywhere that we're going to be gluing, we'll put it on the car. The only place that we put it on the panel, on the quarter panel itself, is in the wheel opening. And the reason being, because if you put the glue here, the quarter panel has to lip over, and it lips and it pushes against this, and basically it'll push all the glue off of the panel, off of the wheelhouse here, and won't get good adhesion. Alright, so we got the corner spot welded. The glue is going to dry for 24 hours. We're going to leave the clamps on while it's drying. And then after that, it's basically ready for paint. Send it to the paint shop. We've got a couple of dents in the right quarter panel and also in the right door, and we're going to go ahead and repair those while we're waiting on the panel bond to dry in this left quarter panel. We've got those panels repaired, so now my brother can get them taped up and get some primer sprayed on them. Alright, so we're done priming, so let's get back to the front of the car so we can get this front end all scuffed and taped up so we can get it cut in. We're about ready to start spraying the front end jambs of this MX5, but before I do that, I gotta seam seal it. And what I like to use when I'm seam sealing, caulking gun, white seam sealer, and an acid brush. Now, what I'm trying to achieve is try to make it look like it's never been wrecked. Now, I'm not trying to hide anything from anyone. I'm just trying to make it perfect. And in my eyes, perfect is pre-accident condition. So, the factory uses a white seam sealer, so that's what I'm going to be using. And the factory uses brush strokes from a brush, so that's what I'm using the acid brush for. So, hopefully I can achieve that and make the car perfect in my eyes. So this is what I'm trying to duplicate. As you can see, it's not real pretty. It's just white seam sealer brushed on with a brush. You can see here I sprayed on a gray to try to emulate the gray undercoating. Same thing with down here in the bottom of the frame rail. So once I spray white, I'll just let white kind of overspray on this area to try to make it look like factory. So after comparing this side to the other side, looks like that seam right there I forgot to seam seal. So we're going to go back and seam seal that now. Alright, so that ought to get it. While I'm painting the jam work on the front of the car on the frame machine, I'm going to be painting some parts in the paint booth. 2 doors and 2 hood hinges. Now, it's not quite a full booth load, but I'm going to have paint in the gun anyway, so I'm going to try to paint as much as I can. Got this door on the flip stand, and what the flip stand allows me to do is to paint both sides of the door at the same time. I'll be able to paint the jam and the outside all at once. Makes the job a lot faster. Alright, so we got the front end on the frame machine. We got 2 doors and 2 hinges in the paint booth. Everything's sanded, everything's taped up, everything's ready to go. I got my paint suit on, got my gloves on. We're going to tack everything off and then start the spraying by putting on 1 coat of white sealer. Alright, so we got the white sealer sprayed on there. We gave it 15 minutes to flash off. So the next step is to start putting on some single stage. We're going to be applying 2 coats of the white single stage. Come on in the booth and I'll show you how it's done. The doors are painted. We got the front end jammed out on the frame machine. Everything looks really good. We're going to let it dry overnight, come in the morning, and then we'll start putting that front suspension back together. We'll put the cradle all back together, put it underneath the car so we can make it a roller and get it off the frame machine.
I sure am thankful being quarantined with someone I enjoy being with.
Must be nice.
Alright, so that's going to be about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and clicking on that bell notification icon. That way you won't miss any future content. If you have any thoughts or questions, leave them in the comment section below. And these are some crazy times we're living in. I hope everyone is safe and well. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya!